Good afternoon. My name's Archie Gemmell. I'm here to present a quick PowerPoint presentation around the transfer process for aerospace certification to NQA. A little bit about myself. My name's Archie Gemmell. I'm the Aerospace and Defence Sector Manager. I joined NQA in 2017 after a career in the Royal Air Force. I'm approved as a 9001 auditor, but also more importantly, AS 9100 and 9120. I can also audit against AS 6180 for counterfeit electronic parts. So, reasons for the webinar. So, looking at consideration of transferring your certification, a quick bit about the actual transfer process itself, looking at the timescales, and then how much it costs to transfer, also why you should choose NQA. Reasons that you may be looking to transfer. Poor service from your existing certification body. So this is some clients look at that, looking for satisfaction and improved level of service, level of communication, even looking at consistent auditing as well, and the approach to the actual certification process. One of the good reasons to pick NQA as well. So maybe it's a retender, so contractual requirement, looking at large public sector multi-sites, or changes within your organization. But also it may be pressure to use a certain provider as well, or through parent companies, etc. So looking at the reason why they want to transfer, why you would like to come to NQA. Okay, and it's also looking at different CBs. So maybe you're just looking for a better deal, a more fair and accurate price, and also kind of a more fair and accurate audit in some cases. So looking at different level of service, so looking for an improvement, a different auditor may add different context, different auditor, fresh set of eyes, and looking at the system, obviously applying the same criteria, but different set of eyes that pose or may throw up slightly different issues and areas for you to improve your certification and your quality management system. Looking at different prices, so making it more competitive and looking at cost savings as well. But again, this may be down to changes within your organization. Okay, so how does the transfer process work? So all certification bodies for the aerospace scheme are signed up and follow the same process. There's a couple of mandatory documents that are followed. So we're looking at the IAF mandatory document 2. So we have to follow the guidelines within that. There's also the supporting standard, the AS 9104-1, which gives you the requirements for certification as well for the aviation, space and defence quality systems. Within that, there's details around how the transfer processes work, and that there's commonality across all CBs and that everybody signs up to follow the same process. The process is relatively simple. Initially, you would speak to us, contact us by whatever method. There'd be a document review. Then we'd give you a quote, and then you would approve your quote, and then we'd follow the process through OASIS. Look at a review of certification. This depends on where you are in your certification cycle, so whether you're within the surveillance period or whether you're up at recertification. And then we'd look at a transfer audit. Transfer audit is slightly different based on whether you're within the last 12 months of your certificate or if you've got longer than 12 months left, which we'll touch on a little bit later on. And then following that, once the review's been done, the report will be technically reviewed, and then we'll give you issue you a new certificate. Okay, so as we say, the ways to do it. So get in touch with NQA. You can phone us, you can use the website, or you can email us. Details are on the website, so you can go from there, but you can also go directly to the link to request a quote from there. So once you've done that, you use the request for quote form and then fill in all the details, look at the actual transfer section, which is in section B, and then complete the details around your certification. So send us the details of that. We'll draw up a quote for you, and You can then sign and agree that, and then at that point we'll agree to transfer. So from that point, the certification body take over. So our back office get involved, and they look at following you through the process. So the process is all managed through Oasis, and in terms of setting up audits and everything, and that communication with the other certification body to transfer across. This again is a formal approach which is standardized across all certification bodies. So the NQA would contact your current certification body via Oasis, and this would be through the feedback mechanism. They would say that you're wanting to transfer, and then they would request a review from their end of your certificate, and just to say that there's no issues around it, and then they approve your certificate to say everything's in good order and that the transfer process then can be continued. There would have to be some Oasis fees, so there's a mandatory $500 fee for that. So you'd pay your fees and then the transfer process begins. The transfer process through feedback can take up to 30 days, so the response from the other certification body. However, we can then carry on in that period to run through the transfer process. So we have an in-house checklist, and basically we determine where you are in your cycle, whether you have any open NCRs, and then we ask to see some of the evidence around your previous audits. So we'll look at the previous audits within your cycle so that we can carry out the reviews, check there's no open NCRs, and check everything's in good order, and then review the certificate. So the transfer process then leads into a transfer audit. And as I said previously, this is based on where you are in your cycle. So if you have more than 12 months left, this is relatively straightforward. So we do a small audit, which can be carried out remotely to review the content of the certificate, review your system, and then review the certificate and make sure everything's in good order. At that point, you would then follow the normal cycle. So your new certificate would be reissued through NQA. And then you would follow your normal cycle and pick up your next audit as normal. Okay, if you have less than 12 months left, this is a slightly more intense process. So we would validate your certificate again remotely, so checking the QMS and the structure, checking everything is okay. But what we'd have to do, it's a two-part process. So we'd have to then check the effectiveness of the processes. So this would involve an element of on-site activity. This on-site activity is based on the complexity of your processes, the size of the organization, and that similar type of thing. So we'd work out the number of days, and then an auditor would come on site and conduct an audit. So two-part audit, one off-site, one on-site. At this point then, we'd carry out the review and we'd reissue your certificate under NQA. You would then fall into the normal cycle again. So at this point, your certificate's issued and you've successfully transferred to NQA. So the process is relatively simple. So again, contact us, we assess the information, provide you the quote, you send us the approval to proceed, we go through Oasis, there'll be an audit, and then your certificate will be reissued. Okay, how long will this take? So this is relatively, like I say, relatively simple process, and then ideally we work around when the certificate expires, but you can do this at any point in your cycle. There's no defined period. So like I say, depending on when you do it, depends how in-depth the audit is. There's cost efficiencies to this, time efficiencies, and we try to do the certification process as quick as we can. Make sure it's seamless, it's pain-free and relatively straightforward for you. So like I say, this is a remote transfer with on-site aspects too, and there'll be a full proposal to ensure there's an accurate duration, accurate cost, but then the mandatory Oasis fees are there. This is set by the standards, so this is set through the scheme, so it's a mandatory requirement, as with your normal fees that you would have paid with your other certification body. So the duration will be determined through the audit calculation and made sure that it's accurate to ensure that we can review the certificate effectively before we reissue you your new certificate. Okay. And then quickly at the end, who are NQA? So NQA is large certification body. So we're America's #1 certification body in the aerospace sector. We're in the top 3 in the UK, and we're also China's #1 certification body for the automotive sector. We specialize in management certification and training across many standards, so primarily across aerospace, automotive, standard quality, environmental, energy, health and safety, and many of the others, as you can see there. We're also UCAS accredited and able to deliver training as a partner through CQI and IRCA. Okay, we offer a range of courses. So we offer virtual learning, e-learning and live webinars, in-house training, and across public and training and nationwide locations. So at present, lots of e-learning and online courses as well, across many different sectors, schemes, and looking at internal auditing, lead auditing, and such. Okay. And our promise to you, NQA's experience promise. We promise to update you of industry changes, promise our experience will add value to your audit schedule. We also promise to ensure your certification remains flexible to your business and will ensure all fees are all inclusive. We'll ensure our auditors are technically competent for your industry, so everybody will be trained appropriately to look at your scheme as part of the transfer process, and will deliver excellent customer service. We'll determine to provide added value through our audits and the reports, and we'll provide access to a customer portal for you also. Okay, and you can expect a practical and common sense approach. So auditors that will come in, focus on your processes, be pragmatic about it and practical, and provide a really good, robust audit for you. They'll look at improvements and focus on it and provide a comprehensive service. Okay, and with added value, and we'll also provide the latest technical advice. Okay, so we'll look to support you with continuity through the audit program and look at a valuable audit report. So one that makes sense, explains the process of the audit, provides the technical detail to allow you to understand what the auditors looked at and where any issues lie, but also more importantly, that you can understand it. Okay, there's also complimentary e-learning courses offered and then webinars. Okay. And if there's any questions around the process, please get in touch either through the website or by phone and get in touch with NQA, and we can provide any support we can. Thank you.